Are you an athlete looking to get your competitive edge and be the best that you can be? Well, we had a chance to sit down with fitness and nutrition expert Mark MacDonald, who shared his expertise with a local hockey team and answered those burning questions most athletes struggle with today. How do I gain weight? What supplements should I really be taking? What should my daily calorie intake be, and what should I be eating and when? Well, Mark addresses all these burning questions throughout this 30-minute webinar they did for the local hockey team. Have a listen.
We're grateful to be able to have Mark MacDonald helping us out, giving us some tools and some guidance, really putting us in a position to win. Mark has a ton of accolades, nutrition and fitness expert, author of New York Times best-selling book, Body Confidence, CNN's health expert, national ambassador for the American Diabetes Association, creator of the Venus Nutrition Program, on and on. I'm just super blessed to be a part of this. Take it away, Mark.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Nick, so much for providing this opportunity. And Kevin and Linda, thank you for leading the Campbell River Storm Hockey. You know, my goal tonight, for all you hockey players right there and for all the parents listening, is to really drive home how to be the best that you can be and really get your competitive edge. If you look, there's two great quotes on the screen right now that just says, one's from Bill Bradley, former professional basketball player, and it says, just remember, if you're not working at your game to the utmost of your ability, there will be someone out there somewhere with equal ability. And one day you will play each other, and he or she will have the advantage. And then obviously, since we're doing hockey, I had to bring a hockey quote. And to me, this is one of my greatest quotes. Steve Jobs from Apple shared this, and I love it when I heard it. I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. Wayne Gretzky. You know, I think that's what our whole theme is going to be about. I'm going to talk for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to open up to Q&A. And my objective this evening is for each of you players right now listening in the arena, is to get an understanding of how you can actually become better, get your competitive edge, and actually by making simple things with your nutrition, you can truly allow your performance, your strength, and your recovery to be that much better. Now, my background, I love sports. I've been an athlete my entire life. I was a soccer player, and I played Division I soccer, and I traveled. I played for the national team as a youth for the U.S. But the biggest thing for me is I was searching and searching and searching as an athlete, and I was so frustrated with the lack of real information out there, starting as a 15-year-old athlete working in my first physical therapy clinic, to as my youth playing and hearing my coaches talk about carbohydrate loading, which just seemed to make me tired. And I'd ask, you know, what should I do to actually improve my recovery or improve my strength? And it'd be like this new cutting-edge supplement, and it was just expensive without a lot of value. So I searched and I searched and I searched. And what happened to me is when I finished playing ball in school, right when I finished school, kept eating poorly because I never learned about food. I just ate what I wanted. And because many of you might relate to this, because you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you're very active. You might eat whatever you want. And because you're so active, you can get lean. You can stay lean, and you still feel strong. The moment I stopped playing soccer, kept eating poorly, I put on 60 pounds. I went from 190 pounds to 250. And to me, that scared me. So what did I do? I started cut my calories, cut my carbohydrates, and I took my body fat down to 4%, and I lived as a fitness model in Los Angeles, California for the next 4 years, looking amazing and feeling horrible. See, as an athlete, we use our exercise to stay lean, and very few athletes understand food. And then as someone who wants to stay lean as a fitness model, I use dieting. So most people are using exercise to stay lean or dieting. What I realized in 1999 is there had to be a better way. There should be a way where you can look and feel your very best, and as an athlete, improve your performance. And not just for all the parents listening. This isn't just for your son. It's not just for your hockey player. It's something that you can do with your entire family. And initially, when I launched our program based upon blood sugar, which I'm going to explain to you, you're going to get educated tonight, it was designed for athletes. It was designed for people that just couldn't go do a diet or cut calories. They needed to improve their overall performance. And that's what this is all about, to be the best that you can be. Through the years, we've worked with every professional organization, every professional team, tons of collegiate soccer player, collegiate athletes, not just soccer, but football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Worked with so many clubs throughout North America and in Europe, really teaching athletes at all levels, recreational, amateur, and professional, how to be the best that they can be with their body. So get ready. It's time that each of you get the competitive edge. So now let's move into what I want each of you to ask. I know right now as a hockey player, you're probably inundated with people sharing, okay, well, you should take this supplement or you should do this nutrition program. What I want to share with you is not about me talking about MonaV or the Revolution or our program. It's not me saying, oh, this is what you should do. What I want you to focus on is I want you to get educated. I want you to ask yourself the right questions. There's 3 simple questions that you should ask yourself for the rest of your life, during your hockey career, and for some of you maybe after your hockey career, or eventually when your hockey career is over. This is something you want to do for the rest of your life. Number 1, is my program based upon physiology? Tonight I'm going to share with you exactly what that means. Number 2, does my program provide educational and tangible tools? Look, as an athlete, we're familiar with doing what we're told, and that works for a while. And it works well for a while. Well, we also have to make sure that you get educated through the process, because down the road, right now, as a 16-year-old boy, as a 17, 18, you're eventually going to have a family, you're going to have children of your own, you're going to be in the workforce. All of these particular things, you want to be able to pass on the generation. That's why I love that we have parents on this webcast right now, because together you're going to do it as a family. And number 3, can you do it for the rest of your life? These are the 3 questions for the rest of your life that whenever someone approaches you that you should be doing this type of program or you should be taking this type of supplement, I want you to be able to answer yes to all 3 of those questions. If you can't answer yes to those 3 questions, then it's time to move on and do something else. Tonight, I'm confident that you're going to easily be able to answer yes to those 3 questions. So let's address first what people do. And I see this, and I know we're not just talking about dieting, but there might be some of you, some hockey players right now, some of you right now that feel like you need to lean up and you have to tighten up. And you think the way you do that is to cut your calories or cut your carbohydrates. We work with so many NFL linemen. And I'll tell you, I do so much with the Raiders. I'm a big Oakland Raider fan. I'm from California. And the Raiders linemen, a lot of the coaches, the old school coaches, think that you have to starve yourself, cut your calories. So they want these linemen to lose weight, and they underfeed them, so they lose weight, yet they lose strength. See, you don't need to lose, when you lose weight and you lose body fat, you're not going to lose muscle if you do it the right way. But when you cut and you restrict, you do. This is a simple chart. It's called the yo-yo dieting syndrome. Basically, this is the deal. When you cut calories or you cut carbohydrates, your blood sugar drops. I'm going to explain that on the next slide. But what that means is that your body's in a deficit, and your body does not burn fat when it's in a deficit. It burns muscle. So right now, every single person on this webcast and every hockey player right now, I want you to understand this, that every time you miss a meal, you are burning muscle, which is slowing down your metabolism, which is affecting the muscle mass that you want. It's affecting your strength. It's affecting your recovery. And then that makes you go into that next meal starving. Think about when you skate on the ice and you've skated for a long period of time and you went too long without eating, and the moment that you cool down, you're starving, you're ravenous. Well, unfortunately, that ravenous feeling is your body's eating itself. That's what happens when your blood sugar drops. Eventually, your hungers and cravings intensify. You then overeat. That's when you do that big meal right after a big practice or a game. You spike your blood sugar, it makes you store fat, weight and body fat increase. Now, right now, as I realize as an athlete, and many of the youth athletes that we've worked with, is that right now you can probably get away with going and eating pizza every night and doing particular things because you're so active. The reality, though, is that even though that maybe you're not gaining body fat, I guarantee you, you're not maximizing your strength, you're not maximizing your recovery, and you're not maximizing your performance. Because the key to maximize your performance and optimizing your body is understanding how to fuel yourself. Right now, I want you to understand that every movement you take, every breath you have, right now, do it. Lift up your right arm. Everyone, lift up your left arm. Take a breath. If you're in the arena, give a scream. I'll wait for it to be a little more quiet now. Okay? Now feel your heartbeat. Every movement you make, every breath you took, every beat your heart made, that is created through an energy source in your body called ATP. And ATP is simply created through blood sugar. So if you look at your screen right now, think of a baby. And everyone on this call was a baby once. A baby, from the moment you take your first breath You feed every 3 to 4 hours. You eat a balance of protein, fat, carbohydrate, which is breast milk, and you eat a certain amount of calories per meal. From the moment we've created, that's how our body's meant to be fed. Why? Because that's how our body creates energy, ATP, and it comes from glucose. So 2 big things. If you implement the right strategies, you will stabilize your blood sugar and your body will be in balance. If you don't, then your body will do it for you, and that's when it comes in, and that's when you burn muscle and you store fat and you impede your performance. Your body is a refuel as it goes machine. So basically, as long as you stay within this range and you're eating 5 to 6, as a 16-year-old athlete, you might need 7 to 8 times a day. When you eat and you fuel your body, because your body's a refuel as it goes machine, you keep your blood sugar in this range, you keep your body in a state of hormonal balance, you maximize your recovery, you maximize your muscular growth, and you maximize your performance. Every time you miss a meal, you skip something, you go too long without eating, your blood sugar drops, you over-release a hormone called glucagon, and your body burns muscle. Works against you as an athlete. Then, when you overeat, you store fat. So the reality is that the foundation, when we talked about that first question, is my program based upon physiology? If it's not blood sugar based, it is not based upon physiology. For the rest of your life, I want every single person, and as an athlete, please understand, you need to stabilize your blood sugar. But not just as an athlete. Whether someone wants to lose weight, someone wants to gain weight, someone wants to increase muscle, someone wants more energy, whatever your goal is, and we're talking directly about Campbell River Storm hockey right now, to maximize your performance, you need to stabilize your blood sugar. Okay, so that's the first thing. And how do you do that? 3 simple things. Number 1, you have to eat the right amount of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Protein affects the hormone glucagon, which raises your blood sugar. Carbohydrates affect the hormone insulin, which lowers your blood sugar, and fat slows down your digestion. The combination of the 3 sets you up to win. And I'll give you some examples of that later in this webcast. Second, you need to eat every 3 to 4 hours. So you need to eat within an hour upon waking, not just a bowl of cereal. You actually need a protein, fat, and carbohydrate with that. So you have to eat within an hour upon waking, every 3 to 4 hours, within an hour upon bedtime. And this goes for everybody. For all the parents on the line, this is how you fuel your body. And then third, you need the right amount of calories per meal. Male and female are going to be different per meal to keep your blood sugar within this range. And when your blood sugar is in this range, your body's in balance. Okay, so when we talk about step 1, is my program based upon physiology? It must be blood sugar based. And I'll dive into a little bit more of that later in the webcast. But it goes beyond blood sugar based. When we talk about being an athlete and optimizing your performance, there's really 6 parts to it, 6 components. And I call it, as Joe shared and Nick shared actually, the book Body Confidence. To me, body confidence is looking and feeling your very best. As an athlete, we want that. As a stay-at-home mom, we want that. As a dad, we want that. Whatever you are, as a 10-year-old child, we want that. We all want to look and feel our very best. So when we look at this, sleep, nutrition, exercise, supplementation, water, and stress. These are the 6 components. Now, with the program and with the plan, we're going to dive in and educate you on how to optimize each one of that. Now, really quickly, I want to share this. Your sleep controls your energy. So you have a part of your body called your adrenal gland. It's your battery, your body's battery. I want you to think about your cell phone. I'm assuming everyone has a cell phone. If you don't, think of something that has a battery. When your cell phone dies, when you run out of battery life, it just stops working. Well, when your body doesn't get enough sleep, it doesn't stop working when your adrenal gland runs out of energy. It just starts falling out of balance. It keeps going, but there's a cost to it. So your sleep is your body's recharger. Your nutrition is your body's fuel. Your exercise, stable blood sugar releases stored fat. This is the power right now as you sit at Campbell River Storm Hockey. This is the power of it. Because when you fuel your body right, because you are so active, that stored fat, and every pound of your stored fat has 3,500 stored calories, gets burned up in your muscle. So your exercise is your burner. Your supplementation, which I'm going to talk about soon, is your protection. It helps counter wherever the gaps are with your nutrition. Your water is your hydration. 60 to 70% of your body is fluid. You can live 5 weeks without food, only 5 days without water. If you're not drinking enough water, That's not going to optimize your performance. And then your X factor in all of it, because I understand it being a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, whether you're in high school, college, wherever you are, whether you're working right now and playing hockey, the reality is that stress is always there. Good stress and bad stress. I guarantee you for the rest of your life, if you know how to manage these 6 components, which I call your body confidence plan and your health foundation, you'll be set up to win for the rest of your life. And the program, I'm not going to dive into exactly how you're going to manage all 6 of these, but that's what the program teaches you. Okay, so now we look at, is my program based upon physiology? As long as it's blood sugar and as long as it focuses on these 6 parts that creates balance in your body, now we're talking about you being set up to win, recover, maximize your performance. Now we start looking about the tools. What are the tools that you're going to be able to do? Well, the first thing is this. We talk about the MonaV 90-day revolution. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the products, because the products are a part of the program, both of it. We need educational tools and real supplementation that's going to optimize your performance. Well, the first thing is I want everyone to get educated. That's exactly what Joe and Nick want. That's exactly what Kevin and Linda wants. We have a 52-page booklet. It's a mini version of my New York Times bestseller, Body Confidence. Body Confidence is the big version, and there's a great section with some good athletes in that. The little booklet really educates you on all of those 6 components that we spoke about and really sets you up to win with understanding how your body works. Now, once we have that as one tool, the next tool is the products. I talked about supplementation. Look, to stabilize your blood sugar, you need to eat 5 to 6 times a day. That's just the reality. And I eat about 7 times. And for the rest of your life, I want you to know that every time you miss a meal, you're burning muscle. And as an athlete, that is like works against everything that you're doing. So there's 3 products in particular when we talk about the Reveal line that set your body up to win to stabilize your blood sugar. It all first starts with the Reveal Shake. I've been teaching blood sugar since 1999, and I actually just did a piece on CNN on this morning. But I've been talking about meal replacements ever since I've been teaching blood sugar. I partnered with MonaV. Our company, Inventus Nutrition, partnered with MonaV back in November this past year to make the best product so that we had the right meal replacement system that would accomplish 3 main things. First, it has the right amount of protein and the right quality of protein. I know as an athlete, you're inundated with protein. Oh, you should do that protein powder. Oh, you should do this weight gainer. I want to share all of that. These weight gainers, every weight gainer that someone tells you to do, they're incorrect. First off, they're using cheap protein. I'll explain exactly why. Second off, it's got way too many calories, because I don't care if you need to gain weight, eating 1,000 calories per meal is not how you gain weight. Your body will waste that energy. So we're talking about quality of protein. What makes protein special? It has nitrogen in it. Why does that matter? Because nitrogen is what allows your body to build muscle. If your body has more nitrogen coming in than leaving, you're in a positive state called anabolic. If you have less nitrogen coming in than leaving, you're in a catabolic state. But it's not just about eating a lot of protein. You need the right amount of protein. And in addition, you need the right quality. A lot of products out there have soy protein. Soy protein has 40% less nitrogen than whey protein. Now, when we talk about whey protein, why is Reveal special? Because it's made with hydrolyzed whey and whey isolate, the highest quality whey protein on the market. Now, that also means protein's more expensive, because whey concentrate, there's a scarcity of whey protein because it can only be made where cheese is made. Because when you start with milk, 80% of milk is formed to cheese, 20% to whey. There's not a marketplace where you can just sell that 20% and get rid of the cheese. So in essence, whey's in high demand and there's not a lot of it available. That causes a higher cost. You get what you pay for. You need to use a protein that's based hydrolyzed whey and whey isolate. Whey concentrate is not absorbed. Hydrolyzed whey is so special because when you ingest protein, it gets broken down into something called a di and tripeptide. And what I want you to understand is this, that when it gets broken down to that, you can absorb all of it. Hydrolyzed whey is already in that state. You fully absorb every ounce of protein. So Reveal has the highest quality protein on the market. Second, it's got the perfect balance of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So it keeps your blood sugar stable throughout everything. When we talk about, I'm going to share briefly later on this webcast about how you need to fuel yourself before, during, and after. But I cycle. I'm a big cyclist. And they always talk about carb loading. I'm going to expose that myth shortly. Well, when we talk about this, whenever your blood sugar drops or when I cycle, I just sip on Reveal throughout that. So this is something that you can do throughout your hockey matches to keep your blood sugar stable. Because remember, your body's a refuel as it goes machine. So if you're burning a lot of energy, you're burning a lot of fuel. You got to refuel that engine. So certain days you might have to eat more food than others. Just hit the ratios. So highest quality protein, the right balance of protein, fat, and carbohydrates to perfectly stabilize your blood sugar. And third, I want everyone to take a breath right now. You take that breath, take another one. You just created free radicals. Now, as an athlete and a non-athlete, there's something called oxidative stress. A free radical is a molecule in your body that lacks an electron. And what you need to know is it's a poison to your body. It breaks down your cells. It breaks down your tissues. And oxidative stress for athletes, the more exercise you do, the more active you are, the more oxidative stress your body produces. Well, the average person takes in less than 2 servings of fruits or veggies a day, and what you need is at least 12. An athlete needs more, around 18. That's why we talk about antioxidants. Antioxidants are found in your fruits and veggies. They contain something called a phytonutrient. These nutrients provide a molecule that completes that free radical so it can be eliminated from the body. Reveal, 1 serving of it, provides you up to 12 servings of an antioxidant level. So you get up to 12 servings of fruits and veggies antioxidant-wise from 1 serving of Reveal. Now this is why we also, as an athlete, you should be taking the Max Juice. Monavie created the greatest antioxidant delivery system in the industry. So when we talk about those 6 components, and I look at supplementation, your protection, we're going to eat real food, because this is the reality. You're eating, most of your meals will be real food. But to fill in the gaps, this is where the shake will come in. And also for additional antioxidant components and the glucosamine found in Max, there's not a better product that's going to provide you with the antioxidants. We have Reveal, we have Max. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is your bar. So when you're at school, when you're traveling on the road, this is something that helps fill in the gap. It's fantastic at stabilizing blood sugar, provides you a dosage of antioxidant, and it's the greatest level of hydrolyzed whey protein ever put into a protein bar. Really sets you up to win. And then the third factor that we have is we have a slow-releasing fat burner. Now, I'm not a huge fat burner fan because I understand fat burners hit your adrenal gland, but this is a fat burner that I go behind and I believe in. The reason why is because it does not attack your adrenal gland like other fat burners do. It attacks your visceral fat, your belly fat. It ignites your metabolism by 4 to 5%, and it helps satisfy you. Now, most of you hockey players, most of you might not need this, but this might be something for your parents that they will, if one of your parents want to lose some body fat, or if someone on the team wants to lose body fat, then this is something that's very safe and non-aggressive like other fat burners are. Okay, so that's when we talk about your product. So now we understand the physiology, we talk about the booklet. Now we look at your supplementation. Now, most of you are already working out, so I get that. So I'm not going to talk much about the workout series. What I do want to share is this, that stable blood sugar releases your stored fat, and as an athlete, you need to be activating your muscle fibers by simply sitting up in your chair right now, bringing your shoulders back, and strengthening your core. You're activating more muscle. I want you to tell yourself, my food releases my stored fat, builds my muscle, and then that fat gets burned up in my muscle. So the more muscle you activate, the better. So you should be doing core training, push-ups, pull-ups, squats. Listen, I know as a 16-year-old, when I was that, I tried to lift as much weight as possible. Lifting weight with a weak core just doesn't make any sense. Trying to pound a lot of weight with poor technique just gets you hurt. You're only as strong as your weakest link. Strengthen your core. And we have a great workout series that helps with that. And then the last piece of the tools, we talk about educational, tangible tools, is a full software program. With the software, it's so great because you can immediately put in your information, your food preferences, and you're going to get fully customized meal plans that work directly for you. This is the thing. I talked about Reveal, the shake and the bar, and those are great gap fillers, early morning, mid-afternoon, maybe late night. But we got to eat real food because real food and quality food provide you with an even higher level of nitrogen. Reveal shake is the closest thing to a perfect meal. We got to get you eating real food in addition so that you understand that wherever you go, whether you're on the road, when you're at school, whatever you're doing, where's my protein, where's my fat, where's my carbohydrate? So this would be a breakdown of what a meal rhythm would be. So basically you wake up, you could have whether you're at a plateau, whether you're at a performance, whether you need to lose a little weight, even as a hockey, where we're a lot of athletes who need to get tightened up a little bit. Balance your meal from your meal plans or a shake or a bar. Then the mix could be a shake or a bar. Then a balanced meal, shake or bar, balanced meal, shake or bar. So, and you might end up eating 3 to 4 real meals and then maybe 1 to 2 shakes or bars. And then your juice could be worked in. That max juice for the antioxidant protection will be worked in your morning meal and then your evening meal. And this is all taught to you with the educational, tangible tools. So now we're looking. 3 questions. Is my program based upon physiology? As long as you are doing a blood sugar-based program, it is. Do I have educational and tangible tools that will set me up to win? With the Revolution, you do, compared to no other. And then third, can I do it for the rest of my life? Well, that's why we do Journey together, so that we can educate you on how to make this part of your world forever. Not just as an athlete, but whatever you walk down, whatever path you're walking down for the rest of your life, you have to understand food, because people don't understand food right now. I don't want you to have to go through what I went through. I don't want you to have to suffer searching for answers and solutions, not knowing who to believe, not knowing what to do. I want to help educate you, just like Joe and Nick does, just like Kevin and Linda does, just all of us here. We want to educate you so that you can take your performance to the next level. Now before we have a call to action here and open up some Q&A, let's talk about 3 strategies that are going to optimize your performance, strength, and recovery. Now, your first step is to implement everything I just shared, because that's your core, that's your foundation. Now, I still hear coaches all the time talking about loading carbohydrates. I want to expose this myth. The thought process to carbohydrate loading was this. You eat a bunch of carbs the night before a match, and you're going to fill up all your muscle with stored sugar, so that during your match, as you burn a lot of energy, you'll be able to use that stored sugar for fuel. The theory made sense. The challenge, though, is that physiologically, it's been proven to be completely incorrect, and let me explain why. When you do that high carbohydrate loading, all of that glucose goes into your muscle cells. The problem is that your muscle lacks something, and I don't want to get too scientific here, but I'm going to a degree. It lacks something called the glucose 6-phosphate. What that means is that muscle, that glycogen in that muscle stored sugar cannot be broken down to blood sugar. So when your quad runs out of sugar, it doesn't matter that your left arm, that muscle has more sugar. It can't be utilized to stabilize your blood sugar. Physiologically, it's impossible. So all carb loading does is spike your blood sugar. Your body is a refuel as it goes machine. You have to feed it throughout the process. Now, I work with many triathletes, marathon runners. We just worked with a ton of the Olympic swimmers. And when they hit a wall, when they don't fuel their body correctly by accident, they made a mistake and their blood sugar drops, well, that's when they have to overeat carbohydrates. They pay a price for that, though. So ideally, we don't want to do that. So we never load carbohydrates. Your body is a refuel as it goes machine. Physiologically, it doesn't work. It just makes you store more body fat. So strategy 2 then, if we don't load, how do we eat correctly before, during, and after? We're going to educate you on that. When we talk about eating before, we're going to focus on taking the highest quality foods, the least processed food, set you up to win. For example, it could be some chicken with some oatmeal or brown rice and some vegetables, something high quality that's going to set you up. During your competition, we need to make sure you're fueling yourself correctly. And then after your competition, we have to fuel yourself correctly. Look, I know gifted athletes, and all of you are gifted athletes, can succeed and excel for a moment at a time. But let's look at why certain athletes excel through an entire season, why other athletes start to falter. It's the education. It goes back to those quotes I had. Wayne Gretzky, I never skated to where, let me go back to that quote so I can show you it. So Wayne Gretzky right here. I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. See, that's what I'm talking about right now, is that we're not looking at where you've been. We're looking at, I want you to be proactive. When we talk about getting the competitive edge, that's what this is all about. Getting the competitive edge is being ahead of the curve. Someone out there right now is equally as talented as you. By you making your nutrition a priority and your health a priority, you will exceed them. It's why we were with all the NFL Combine kids, because so many of them, they're all at the same level. But these are the little pieces that allow them to outperform someone to make that difference. So I'm going to educate you on how to eat correctly before, during, and after. Your body's a refuel that goes machine. And the third thing, we're going to optimize your sodium potassium pump. Your cell balance of water fluid is controlled directly by sodium and potassium. It needs equal balance inside and outside the cell. Your water intake, the amount of sweat you have, all of these things is what determines cramping, lack of flexibility. So understanding how to optimize your water intake, how to optimize how your body fires on that, fires those cells, and how to make sure that you're not overloading on sodium and underloading on potassium is big. The good news is we can do most of this just from the food you eat. And then we may need to add some sodium potassium tablets based upon who you are. But these are 3 additional strategies based upon the foundation that will allow you to optimize your performance, strength, and recovery. Okay, so before we go up to Q&A, I want to do a call to action here so that you can get your competitive edge. Look, Nelson Mandela, and this is a good story. Nelson Mandela, I'm assuming everyone knows, but you know, I have a 7-year-old, and I know he doesn't know Nelson Mandela's. I think 16-year-old too. Nelson Mandela was president of South Africa, and he was enslaved for 20 years for doing nothing, for just being an African American in South Africa with apartheid. And after he fought for his freedom and his country's freedom, he was free, and he went to the Olympic Games. And at that time, he could have just retired because he did so much. But he realized that looking at these Olympic athletes that he had more to do. And he came back and he became president of South Africa and took his legacy to a whole nother level and helped so many more people. And the reason he did that, he said that true greatness is when you choose to exceed your own expectations of yourself. Look, right now you're sitting as a hockey player. I want you to envision where you can be. I want you to choose to exceed your own expectations of yourself. I want you to understand that you can be the best that you can be. I'm a soccer god, and Ronaldo is one of the greatest soccer players in the world. And Ronaldo, at times where his friends went out and they were drinking and partying and things like that, he stayed home and he trained. He made it a priority, and he took his game to another level. He chose to exceed his own expectations of himself. I'm asking each of you to make that same commitment, to choose to exceed your own expectations of yourself at your pace. Make your nutrition a priority. Make your health a higher priority. Sure, you can get away with what you're doing now. Do you want to be the very best? Do you want to be your very best? Don't worry about everybody else. Be your very best. So step 1, get a clear vision of your health, body, and performance. Get a clear vision of where you want to go with your game. Step 2, make these next 90 days the beginning of your health foundation. It doesn't end after 90 days. 90 days, you will turn this into a lifestyle and a habit that will set you up to win and forever own it. Step 3, start and live the program. Utilize the products, take on the program, and win. You know, I have a 7-year-old son, and I am so grateful every single day that I have the opportunity to help educate him on some of these items that I search for, and I know so many athletes do. That clubs I work with, it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to speak to each of you right now, because I know as a hockey player, maybe not all of you, but I know some of you right now are hearing me, and I'm hoping all of you are right now, that you have an opportunity to be the best that you can be and take your body to a place it's never been before, and take your performance to a place and love it and enjoy it. Choose to be your very best. Live the program at your own pace. You can and will get the competitive edge. Okay, Joe and Nick, and thank you for the time. Joe and Nick, let's open up to the Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. We're going to ask the players to come up. If you've got a question on nutrition that you'd like to come and ask Mark, Mark would be happy to answer for you. Hey, Mark, one of the things that they were talking about beforehand was how soon before actual competition should they be eating? Should they be eating an hour before, 2 hours before, 3 hours before? How soon before a national game?
That's a great question. So it's a bit individual, but the reality is this: when you eat, the food goes into your stomach, and blood goes there, so it comes away from your muscles. So you don't want to eat a huge meal right before you go on the ice, but typically about 90 minutes before would be fantastic. Now, certain people might have a more sensitive digestive system where they'd have to maybe go 2 hours. But that's why I like the periods that you have. You know, you have 1, 2, 3. In between is when you can do a shake. You can keep you refueling your body. You never want to overeat and you never want to undereat. The whole thing is about keeping your body in that blood sugar range. So probably about 90 minutes I would start there and then consistently find how to keep recovering. Like Reveal to me is a fantastic meal replacement for when I'm doing activity. And then you can also, there's another product that can be added to in addition to Reveal if you need an electrolyte balance called Recoverite. So to me, Reveal's the foundation, the shake, and then if you need some additional carbohydrates and electrolytes, a product by Hammer Nutrition called Recoverite is also excellent.
Thanks for that. I actually have a question for the owner, Kev Spooner. He's asked when they do some traveling and they're on the bus, they get what is called spaghetti legs. And what should they be, half an hour to an hour after they get off the bus? They got a little bit of time to warm up. What's the best thing to be putting in their body, and what's the best thing to be doing as far as a stretch or a run or whatever?
It's a great question. You know, I think part of this comes back down to the foundation. A lot of times, the spaghetti legs are caused from lack of water intake, not really eating correctly, not sleeping as well. So a lot of that will be solved by simply really living the program. But at that same point, what I do, because I travel a lot, and when I go to Europe, I get up consistently. So maybe you can't walk around the bus, but you can sit up in your chair, stretch a little bit while when you're sitting there. Just straighten your legs a bit, and then right after, because we want to make sure you're feeling yourself, but then right after you get out of the bus, do some jumping jacks, do like a 5-minute jog, get the circulation flowing again, and then a 5-minute stretch. That should get your legs right back to you. And
Mark, you mentioned something about which flies contrary to what a lot of people have been taught or believe, and that is eating before bed at night, an hour before bed. For these athletes, what type of food should they be eating just before bed?
You want to eat a balanced thing. So that's the cool thing about the plan, is that when we start looking about education, we got to take the foods that obviously you love. But you could be a shake before bed. It could be Greek yogurt. Like Greek yogurt's fantastic. Greek yogurt with some fruit and some nuts. So it's when someone says don't eat before bed, it's a total myth, because as long as you blow and spike your blood sugar, it's impossible to store fat. And as long as you don't lower your blood sugar, it's impossible to burn muscle. So that's the cool thing about the plan, is each one of you have different food preferences. So we just got to find the foods that you love and then balance it. I mean, some people love to eat chicken before bed with some brown rice and some fruit. Some people love to have some pasta with that. It's just all in the right moderation. But every meal needs some protein, some fat, and some carbohydrates. And once you understand that, you're set up to win. And then Tanya and Dewey, who are on call, they just talked about carb loading, pasta, pasta, pasta. You know, and I understand it's not just an old-time hockey tradition. It's an entire old tradition. So, you know, when we talk about team building and that, I think you can still have a team building event, but I just think it would be more balanced. Like when I look at a meal, you got to say, okay, you want your protein, like the chicken you take in should be equal to that pasta. And then you need to have some fat with that. Maybe that's some olive oil on the pasta, maybe some cheese on the pasta or the chicken, maybe some avocado. But I would just make this, still have your team building events, but do it correctly. And then I still like to have my off-plan meal, so I don't want anyone to feel, any of you, listen, I love pizza, I love hamburgers, I love french fries. So I'm not here saying don't do that. That's just an off-plan meal. So once or twice a week, go for it. I wouldn't do it before a game. I wouldn't do it if you had a back-to-back game and a tournament. But if you played a tournament and on a Sunday night you don't have training for the next couple of days, go have a pizza party and pig out and enjoy it and understand you're going to spike your blood sugar and then get right back on plan. How can we score more goals? That's the power of it. That's like the combine kids. The combine kids for the NFL would come to us and they say, how can I run faster? Well, you know, nutrition's not going to make you increase your 40 by, a tenth of a second. But what it will do is it will maximize your recovery. It will allow you to be stronger. So when we talk about third period, when we talk about better conditioning, when your nutrition's off, I don't care how great of an athlete you are, you will not function as well come that third period. So the conditioning, the energy, the consistency, the recovery, the strength.
I have a question from one of the players, if that's all right.
Of course.
All right. How many grams of protein should I eat each day if I'm trying to gain weight?
It's a great question. This is the power of it. If your blood sugar's stable, your body's in a positive state, you're going to have a nitrogen flux and you're going to grow and you're going to build. For someone like you, how much do you weigh right now?
175.
Okay, and how lean are you? Are you very lean?
Yeah, pretty lean.
So we'd probably put you about 500 calories per meal, and that's going to be about 40 to 45 grams of protein per meal, and you're going to eat about 6 to 7 times a day. Rather than focusing on per day, focus on per meal. The per day stuff just doesn't matter. Your body will burn and process on a per meal aspect every 3 to 4 hours. We work with so many guys who need to gain weight, and if they implement that strategy and they eat about 6 to 7 times a day and they eat consistently, they naturally get about a 5-pound bump out of the gate, probably within the first 10 days, and then it's about 2 pounds every single month after that.
All right, thank you.
You got it.
Got another question here for you, Mark.
Okay.
So, apparently what you eat after a workout is really important, and also when. And just kind of getting what you thought about like replacing after a workout or whatnot, and the time frame would that be like?
Yeah, you know, I've lived 2 worlds. When I finished, so I'm a nutritionist kinesiologist. When I finished school, and I took my first job in 1995 managing a health club and running nutrition and exercise. And when I was fitness modeling, I was all into the window of opportunity. I read every health magazine. I knew every supplementation company. I still know them now. There's just not a lot of really good ones I believe in anymore from a supplement side. Obviously, Monavie I believe with all my heart. What happened is that whole window of opportunity happened that after a workout, you're in such a state of deprivation, you need to load to actually get this big insulin response. What we have seen is that the window of opportunity actually doesn't mean anything. If you can feed your body consistently and keep your blood sugar stable, you never have a window of opportunity to attack into. So you need to feed yourself right before, feed yourself right during if you go for a long period of time, and then feed yourself right after. But I'll tell you, if you bookend it, if you're doing a big weight training session and some cardio, if you simply have a great meal before and you have a great meal after, you're going to have that high nitrogen flux and you're going to grow nicely and maximize that workout. So a lot of that is just myth. And then someone actually asked, so right here, if we look at what about diet, how can diet help performance? Well, this is, or how can, Tanya says, how can diet help score more goals? This is what I want all of you to understand, all you players right now, that what ends up happening is that if you're not feeding your body right, you start to fade in that third period. You will fade where if your competition is feeding their body right, they won't fade. This gives you the advantage when you start looking at just not conditioning, greater energy, greater clarity. Remember, what happens, what controls your energy source? ATP, glucose. So when your blood sugar is low, your body, your mind is not functioning as optimal as it can. When your blood sugar is stable, it will make you stronger than your competition in the third period. And in essence, score more goals and make more saves.
Okay, any more questions for Mark? Go ahead.
Would this the RDL protein shake, would that be like at GNC? Could I get it there or?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not from a GNC. You got to be careful when you go to GNC. It's very difficult. You want to find a hydrolyzed way, but Joe and Nick can help you how to find the products. The quality matters, so make sure that you're implementing. And Heather asked how easy it's to get in Canada. Very easy, Heather. Canada easily gets Reveal in.
Hey, Mark, on behalf of the Campbell River Storm, Kevin, Linda Spooner, the coaches and the players, I'd really like to thank you for taking the time today to share with us. I think that we all recognize in the Monavie world how special you are. We've had the opportunity to meet you and know what a great effect you have had on thousands and thousands of people. And we really appreciate you taking the time today to share with the hockey team here.
Perfect. And, you know, I would be happy, Joe and Nick and Kevin and Linda and everyone, if we want to do another webcast, when everyone's ready to rock, you know, I can walk people through the program, we can answer it. So I'm with you every step of the way. So if there's additional webcasts that we want to do to help make sure everyone can live it optimally and increase performance, I'm all in to help any way I can.
Okay, Mark, I'll get back to you on that, but we would appreciate that. I'm pretty sure that Kevin would want to do that.
Absolutely. Okay. And if do we have to buy you a ring when we win the cup?
I'll buy my own. You tell me the price, I'll buy it. If you can send it to me, that'd be great. I want a ring. We got eliminated in the NCAA quarterfinals. My third year. We're so close to winning the national championship. So I don't have a ring. So I want a ring with the Campbell River Storm hockey.
Well, tomorrow morning you can put it live on the air. We will bring you a ring.
Okay, fantastic.
Right up, buddy.
Okay, thanks so much.
Hey, thanks. Thank you very kindly, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, you guys. This is what it's all about. I'm here to help any way I can. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, good night.
Okay, good night. Bye.